There comes a point where your setup feels almost complete. You have good headphones, you have your playlists ready, and you sit down to listen. But then you notice something subtle. The sound feels a bit flat, or it lacks depth. That is usually where we start thinking about a dedicated digital audio player. So today we are going to break this down together. We are looking at Astell&Kern, FiiO, and Sony. And as we go, you will start to see that each one is built with a very different idea in mind. Let's get started. Before we compare brands, we need to get one thing clear. A DAP is not just about playing music better. It changes how your audio is processed from start to finish. Now if you think about your phone, it handles everything at once. Apps, calls, background tasks, power saving, audio becomes just one part of that system. But with a DAP, the entire design is focused on sound. You get dedicated DAC chips, stronger amplification, and cleaner power delivery. So what happens is simple. You hear more detail, better separation, and more control over your headphones. And once you hear that difference, it becomes hard to ignore. So let's start with Astell&Kern, because this is where things get very focused. When you pick up something like the A and Ultima SP3000, or even the newer SP4000, the direction is clear. This is built for listening first. Now here's where it gets interesting. A&K uses multiple DAC chips in a separated design. Digital and analog stages are isolated, which reduces interference. So when you press play, you notice a very clean background. Then we look at output. Around 6.3 volts RMS in balanced mode. That gives you enough power to drive serious headphones without losing control. And as you keep listening, something stands out. Instruments feel separated. Vocals sit clearly in the center. Small details like reverb or texture become easier to pick up. Now if you move to something like the A and Futura SE300, the sound shifts a bit. The R2R DAC brings a more natural tone. It feels softer, slightly more organic, and less digital. So if you are someone who likes to sit with your music and notice every layer, this is where Astell&Kern really connects with you. Now we move to FiiO, and right away the approach changes. With something like the FiiO M27, the focus is not just sound quality, it is also about capability. You get dual ESS DACs, and then you see output numbers going up to 5,000 milliwatts. That is a huge jump compared to most portable players. So what does that mean for you? It means you can plug in almost anything and it will run properly. High impedance headphones, planar drivers, more demanding setups. You have the power to handle them. Then, as you use it more, you will notice the flexibility. Full Android system, multiple output ports, desktop mode. It feels like a portable device, but it behaves like a small audio hub. Now in terms of sound, ESS DACs bring a slightly sharper edge, high frequencies feel more defined, and details come forward a bit more. When you move to the M23, you also get THX amplification. That helps keep distortion low and control tight. Even something like the M11S already gives enough power and clarity for most users. So if you are someone who wants flexibility, and you do not want to feel limited by your device, FiiO starts to make a lot of sense. Then we come to Sony, and this is where things feel more balanced. Take the Sony NW-WM1ZM2 as an example. On paper, the output is lower than FiiO, around 250 milliwatts per channel in balanced mode. But as you listen, the experience feels complete. And that is because Sony focuses on tuning the whole system together. The S-Master HX amplifier keeps the signal clean, and DSEE Ultimate works to improve compressed tracks. So what do you hear? A warmer, smoother sound. It feels relaxed, but still detailed enough. You can listen for a long time without fatigue. Then we look at something like the Sony NW-WM1AM2, which keeps the same sound in a lighter body, or the Sony NW-ZX707, which gives you a more compact option with strong battery life. And that brings us to another point. Sony's battery performance is excellent. You can get close to 40 hours depending on usage. That changes how often you rely on it. So if you want something that fits easily into daily use, Sony feels very natural. Now let's connect everything. If you use demanding headphones and want strong output, FiiO gives you that power. If you listen carefully and want maximum detail and separation, Astell&Kern gives you that refined presentation. And if you want something balanced, easy to use, and comfortable for long sessions, Sony fits that role. And there is one more thing we notice over time: the user experience. FiiO feels open and flexible. Sony feels smooth and stable. And Astell&Kern feels focused and distraction-free. That part matters more than you expect, because you interact with it every day. At this point, it becomes less about which one is better. Instead, it becomes about which one fits you. Because once your DAP matches your listening style, everything starts to make sense. Your headphones perform the way they should, your music feels more alive, and most importantly, you stop thinking about the gear, and you just listen. That was all. Thanks for watching. If you found it helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more videos. And don't forget to share your experience in the comments.